Hi, Shell. I like your shirt. Ooh, you've even got a little wand.
I got
Wonder
my
Woman with a
wand and
wand.
yep. I mean, I have to keep things to give me power. These little silly things make me feel more powerful when I try to
I love
show
it.
up in the world.
That's what we're
Da da
talking
da.
about today. We're talking about like what
Showing
is
up.
it like to show up in the world and how do you I believe that we all have creativity in us. It's easy to compare ourselves to somebody else and think, "Oh wow, they're so creative. I wish I was like that." It's like, "Well, why aren't you like that?" We're all creative. They have just leaned into their creativity and they have developed their creativity. Do you think
Hmm.
do you think it's something that we can develop or do you think it's something that only certain people have?
I mean, I was always a creative, from childhood. I've always been creative. My mother's creative. My Pepe, my grandfather's a painter. But my sister would tell me she's not creative. But I think more recently she's found like some things that she's like kind of reassessed that and thought, you know what, because she's started to like watch some baking shows and she's been doing some things with that. And I think recently she kind of was like, you know what, I am creative, just not in like the
Mhm.
ways, the same ways or whatever. But
Yeah.
I think we all have something in us that's creative or yeah, it's something special in us. Every person has special things in the gifts in them um, that I believe, the world needs, right? And they're all individual.
100%.
Yeah.
Yes. And I think something happens at some point in your life where either somebody says you aren't that and you believed them or something negative
Mm.
happened and you listen to that inner voice that says, "Well, I'll never be like that," or "I'm never going to do that." And we keep saying that over and over and over to ourselves
That's
until
so
one
funny.
day we just say, "I guess I'm not, so why pursue it?"
Hmm. I don't go on a tangent, but and I don't
That's what
really
we
know
do,
about
we
her
go
now,
on
but Mary
tangents, yeah.
I know. Marianne Williamson, years like 15 years ago, I remember reading like Return to Love, which was like her book about how we have to unlearn what we've been taught. Like when we're
Mm,
born, we have the belief as a child that we can do anything and we have all these things and we're kind of like you said, like you're told or you observe and things like kind of you take that back. And it's like when you get older, you get to a point where you need to like unlearn all that thing that kind of made you realize you weren't magnificent when you really are. And
mhm.
that's like a process, right? Of doing a lot of inner work and really
Oh, yeah.
like being like, wait a minute, that's a lie. That's not true, and owning who you are and showing up in the world. Yeah. I mean, I'm 50. This year I'll be 55 and still working on this. I
So
do believe
right?
it, and I think I've gone a long way with it, but yeah, there's still the imposter syndrome.
Yep.
There's still fear. There's still things that hold me back, and I don't always I mean, I show up in the world, but like I still hold myself back from doing some things that I want to do
Yeah.
um, out of
And I
that. You
and I
know.
feel like we hold ourselves back and not even realize that we're holding ourselves back, right?
Mm,
Until you start doing some self-work and you start looking inside and going, "Why am I feel stuck. I feel stuck in this. Why
mm,
do I feel stuck?" And then you start asking the questions, where is it that I wanna be and what's holding me back and why is it holding me back and what is my
yeah,
purpose? What are my core values? Like, what am I living my life for? Like,
yeah,
all of that just in this ball inside of everyone trying to figure out their journey in the world, right? And
yeah. I
there's a lot
think
of
that
creativity in there that needs to come out, and I just
and
think a lot of
figuring
people
out where
there's
where you want that to be.
Yeah.
I remember the Ellie Ray's episode, she talked about this, like, like, just, like, own who you are and, like, that wonderful, like, unique you. The world needs that, needs you, and, how does that and I think we overthink, "Well, what are people gonna think? What are people gonna say?" And it's like your inner your inner thoughts just, like, take over. And
Mhm.
you're just like, "What do I care?" Like, I do feel like I've come to a point where I'm like, "I don't care anymore what." And I definitely come to a better place where I'm like, I know I'm a good person. I know I have creativity. I know I have things I wanna share. So who am I to, like, like, not do that because I think somebody might perceive it in a certain way or what, you know what I mean? Or whatever, you know?
Oh, yeah.
I mean, but it's hard, 'cause people do. People like, and you worry about that a little bit, but I'm at a place where I'm just like, "You know what? I'm gonna just show up in the world and be the person I am," and I believe that's bringing goodness into the world, bringing, service into the world, bringing funny things, my
Mhm.
humor, like, the
Oh, yeah.
light, and a lot of people have said to me, like, like, things like your posts and stuff make me feel, like, relatable and, like, make me happy, bring light, and, like, humor and all that stuff, just, self-deprecating, like, I'm definitely, like, somebody who, like, will make fun of myself before I
Yeah.
would ever, yeah, and I think that's helpful 'cause people, like, relate to that, right?
Mhm. And we don't
Yeah.
take ourselves too seriously. I think that's a big part of it
Not at
too.
all.
We can't. I don't have time to take myself too
Have you
seriously.
seen my
Yeah,
There's no
right.
taking myself seriously. No, no.
No.
Yeah, that's life's too short. I always say that. What's that saying? This is one of my favorite quotes from an Indigo Girls song, and it says, "The best thing you've ever done for me is to help me take my life less seriously. It's
Mm.
only life after all." That's like I love that quote. It's just
Mhm.
kinda takes off the pressure, you know what? Like, take light, and it's like it's true because we are so intense on, like, worry and all that, like, I know I am, and I overthink everything, and
Mhm.
that just kinda, like,
Worry and
washes
fear
over me.
take over. Yeah. So it's like, we were
Mhm,
talking about this, before, like, how do you push past the fear
mm,
and walk
and
into
show up
that
anyway.
and show up anyway?
Yeah,
Brene Brown is a wonderful
yeah.
author and researcher that has a
Love
lot of
Brene.
books on that. Yeah.
Yeah,
To show up.
mhm. Sh I love Brene Brown, I love everything about her, I've watched her for years. Another person that I've been following lately is Mel
Robbins.
Robbins.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
really like her
She's
too.
yeah, she's
She's
just
got
kinda like
ADHD
straight
too.
shooter. Right,
She
right.
didn't realize that until later in life as well, and I thought, "Oh, there's
Yep,
still
yep.
hope."
Yeah, she's a straight shooter. She has a quote that I've kind of adopted, which 'cause my brain can go down all these, like, horrible roads, and she's like, "When you're in that space, just say, 'What if it all works out?'" And that for
Mm,
me, that's, like, hard. I can't say, like, some people are like, "Well, you have to, like, say it to believe it. You have to be like, everything's great," and I just, like, that feels disingenuous to me. So,
right.
for me, that's, like, a middle ground of, like, even though, your brain thinks it won't work out, but, like, what if it all works out is, like, just bringing in a little disruptor into the thought process of, like, you don't
What if
know
it did?
how this is gonna
What if
go.
it was fine?
Yeah.
What
So
if it
for me,
turned out
that's a happy
amazing?
middle ground. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no,
But
I like
it's like
that. That's good.
yeah, she's got a lot of good, like, little, things
Quips.
like that. So I watch find things that resonate with you, whether that's, like a Brene Brown or Mel Robbins. I love Wayne Dyer. Like, it's certain if you find things that resonate with you, like some people like Tony Robbins and stuff. He drives me nuts. Like, I can't I can't listen to him. He's too
Right.
much. Like, I like a
He's got a
gentler,
lot of energy,
um
yeah.
yeah, that's just not for me, but for someone
Right.
else, that might be, like, motivating, it might help them feel, like, to push through their fears or what have you. So really find things, whether that's, like, people, quotes, like somebody that inspires you, something and find ways to like, because if you think about it, like, you're doing the world a disservice by not showing up and not putting your
Mm,
gifts out there. That's, like, the basic overarching thing I would say. And then when you think of it like that, you're like, "Oh, like, what am I here for if I'm not sharing those gifts?" Right?
mhm.
And
Yeah.
that you're
And it
doing a
takes time,
disservice, right?
right? We always talk about it's a journey. It's a journey of
Mhm.
discovering your purpose and why you're here in the world.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, show up in the world. It doesn't have perfect, what is it? Done is better than perfect,
Mhm.
as we know from doing our little show here.
This whole
We
year,
are not
there's no way I would have been able to do
perfect.
this without you,
Yeah,
because I would have been trying to
yeah.
make everything perfect and look we're just
And the
showing up
funny
and
thing
being
is,
real.
I don't know if this will be on the recording, but your mouth is not matching up with you talking. So, I
Oh,
think
nice.
that's hilarious.
It's it's a new little trick I've developed.
You're, yeah, like,
It's a
ventriloquist. So,
ventriloquism. Yeah.
we're gonna leave that in if that is indeed what happened, because done
It
is
might be
better than
okay.
perfect.
Done is better than perfect. So
And,
show up in the
yeah,
world. Show up in the world.
show up in the world
And
and
if you're
bring the world your light.
wondering why you're not, then start your journey of self-discovery and figure out why you're not showing up in the world, what's holding you back.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's worth it.
Yeah.
Do it. Thanks for watching. Bye.